Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would make a quick video explaining myself after I trolled everybody really hard this morning. And the reason I trolled people is that anyone who saw the questions coming up knew that was coming, because I've always historically trolled people for that stuff. I'm not a fan of competitive bodybuilding. In fact, I have publicly displayed a pretty much a large amount of contempt for competitive bodybuilding, and I'm not interested in it. Most people realize by now I don't actually follow it. I don't watch bodybuilding shows. And people always ask me stuff about pics about bodybuilding shows and things when they know that I'm not actually interested in bodybuilding, and if anything, I do nothing but troll it and make fun of it. Despite having actual friends, good friends of mine who compete in it, I still troll it. The reason I troll it and the reason I do that is multifold, and I want to be mature about this and discuss the real mature, actual real reasons, because obviously someone wouldn't publicly troll something that hard unless they actually have some real reasons. As far as the gay thing, that is done in pure fun. That is done because it is such an easy point to hit. And it's funny because I've always publicly crusaded for equal rights for homosexuals, for transgenders, for gay marriage, everything else. Everyone knows that's my stance. So it's not even a homophobia thing. It is because, to be frank, there is a certain element of people who are still in the closet culturally, or people who are somewhat insecure about their sexuality. There's a large number of them who train for bodybuilding type goals, not necessarily bodybuilding. And when you hit those points, it's just so easy to freak them out. I do it to freak them out. They get really upset and they take it personally because they're still homophobic to some extent. Whereas for me, it's just done as a casual fun thing. I don't really care. I don't have a negative view of homosexuality at all. The reason I do that, though, also is because it seems like people are completely oblivious. It's the same people have these blinders on, and they don't even look at the history of bodybuilding. They don't look at the culture of bodybuilding, or even what the contests represent. At least most of us who understand sports and stuff understand bodybuilding is not a sport. It's a performing art, just like ballet is. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. It's a form of artistic expression. But essentially, what bodybuilding essentially is at the competitive level is at least men's bodybuilding, is a group of men standing up with other men in front of a predominantly male audience, wearing a tiny thong, covered in oil, and posing and flexing in front of other men as a form of artistic expression. That in and of itself has at least homoerotic implications. I'm not saying it makes them gay. Clearly, that doesn't make you gay. All right, I'll drop the trolling. It doesn't make you gay. It has homoerotic implications. When you combine that with the social and cultural aspects in the history of bodybuilding that not everyone is aware of, it becomes a whole nother topic. And that's the case of going back since bodybuilding first started getting pushed and organized. There were even rumors back then of Joe Weider requiring and requesting sexual favors from the bodybuilders that he helped. It was founded upon kind of, a lot of bodybuilding is always rumored to be, just rumors, mind you, but I've known people who knew them and said it was true. But that's hearsay. That it was founded upon trading homosexual favors for stuff. Venice Beach had a massive, the Muscle Beach thing had a massive, massive homosexual population. Homosexuality was part of serious bodybuilding since day one. To this day, massive numbers of top-level bodybuilders do homosexual prostitution. You'll find if you go to enough bodybuilding shows that not only are all the competitors up there having paid for a lot of their lifestyle by selling their bodies to other men in sexual favors, you will find other men backstage offering money for everything from muscle worship services to blowjobs to sexual favors. You'll see the same thing at the after-show parties. Homosexual prostitution is a very strong component to competitive bodybuilding. And you guys have seen it all on the internet. I can name 3 people right now who all of you associate with bodybuilding, who every one of you who follow bodybuilding know, who have publicly been caught doing at least gay for pay type stuff. And I've known ones who actually did literally sell their bodies, but I'll name you 3 right now. Matt Ogus had his stuff that came out. Cali Muscle has been caught on this, and so has Kai Green. So it is part of it, and people seem to want to deny that. You're taking an activity that is essentially has homoerotic implications while not being directly homosexual, combined with a massive subculture of homosexual prostitution as one of the primary funding mechanisms for it. So when you say bodybuilding is gay, it's not meant as an insult, it's actually kind of literal. Now, as far as the other aspects of it go, there's also the social aspects that I really dislike, and then there's the financial aspects, and that's the one that gets me the most. Right up at the top of the list, you guys know I'm really big on masculinism is the best way to put it. And I'm not opposed to feminism. I actually like feminism. I like the idea of women having equal rights, women being uplifted. I don't like radical feminism. The extremists, just like I don't like extremist masculinists, but I do promote very much a return of basically masculine role models. There is nothing masculine about men being obsessed with their beauty and how good they look. We consider that to be essentially a feminine trait socially, and therefore I would much rather see men focus more heavily upon their performance and look up to masculine role models who do promote performance, leadership, honor, integrity. Those things that we look for in our male role models, and I don't see that in the bodybuilding world. I see the bodybuilding world as quite the opposite of those things, and therefore I kind of dislike that. I would much rather see men trained to be stronger, faster, better. I don't mind giving advice on the other. I would rather see my focus on the performance element because it ties in more with what I would like to see with our young men today. Our young men have forgotten how to be men, and it shows. I don't like the demasculinization of society today in our young men. I dislike it, and that reflects in my choices there. I don't consider bodybuilding to be very masculine compared to something that's a performance-based sport. To be stronger, faster, jump higher, lift heavier, performance-based. So that is a big part of it. And then the biggest one is, you guys know my stance on the supplement world. I consider the entire supplement industry, at least 95% of it, to be a big con. Selling garbage, overhyped garbage that doesn't help you, doesn't do anything, that has been massively marketed. And I would personally like to see 95% of the supplement industry go away. The world and the training world would be better off for it. They use bodybuilding as a vehicle to promote that. They use the physiques in bodybuilding, which is based upon lies of guys, I use this product and that product, when they really use drugs and genetics, and no amount of supplements in the world will ever make you look like them. No matter how many thousands and thousands you spend, most of these guys have great genetics and they're on shitloads of drugs, even the ones who are claiming they're natty. And that false image, which is bodybuilding is built upon, that image from the marketing perspective, is being used to sell products that don't work. It's being used to sell training programs that won't work for people who aren't on shitloads of drugs and don't have good genetics, because at some point a lot of these pro bodybuilders can train any way they want and they would still have that look as long as they trained reasonably hard. It's because their training styles are almost irrelevant, and a lot of them don't know shit about basic training. So you combine in that they're selling all of this stuff to people, but it's basically being used to market and sell stuff to people that they don't need as a business, that's not going to help them reach their goals. And it's basically false advertising and taking money from people. So that is my other big objection to bodybuilding. That's why I don't like it. That's why, one of the reasons I make fun of it. That's why I try to push away from promoting it, simply for those reasons. And when I say bodybuilding, I'm talking about at the competitive level. I do not consider a non-competitor to be a bodybuilder. Someone who says, well, I want to work out to look a bit better. Well, I can appreciate that. I can understand that. That doesn't make you a bodybuilder any more than it makes you a powerlifter because you like to lift heavy. A powerlifter is someone who competes in powerlifting. Bodybuilder is someone who competes in bodybuilding. Just like just because you dance and you enjoy dancing doesn't make you a ballerina. So that is what I'm talking about when I say bodybuilding. Alright guys, but overall, those are the reasons I troll bodybuilders so hard. is because of just the fact that it's fun to watch people's insecurities when I do the gay thing, because they flip the fuck out. The issue with it not promoting, and I don't see bodybuilding effectively promoting the type of male values I would like to see in young men today. And then there's the massive marketing bullshit end of it that is basically stealing money from people, and it is being used as a vehicle to con people out of their hard-earned money, particularly naive young men. And I really have a dislike of the latter the most, but all of those are factors there. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh, my bicep is